Welcome to Tulsa Pride in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm Toby Jenkins, the CEO and Executive Director of Oklahomans for Equality and the Dennis Arnell Equality Center. Oklahomans for Equality is celebrating their 40th anniversary, and what a historic event to happen on our 40th anniversary for us to be able, for the very first time, to be able to broadcast the Tulsa Pride Parade. Previously recorded last year on the anniversary of our 20th Pride Parade in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We mourn the loss of over 100,000 Americans who have died during the COVID pandemic, and we support and thank the frontline healthcare workers and medical professionals and first responders for their heroic efforts during this pandemic. We stand in solidarity with our people of color siblings who are impacted by systemic racism. We work for justice and affirm Black Lives Matter, and we stand against police brutality. Here we are at 13th and Boston, where we're lining up in front of the shadows of the Boston Avenue United Methodist Church. Boston Avenue United Methodist Church every year lets us stage in their parking lots, lets us hide under their shade trees, even lets us use their bathrooms and those water fountains to stay hydrated. Boston Avenue United Methodist Church is working to become an inclusive and welcoming faith community for the LGBTQ community within the United Methodist Church. They support the full inclusion of LGBTQ persons within the life of the church. Some people want to know why we have to have a Tulsa Pride Parade. We're commemorating a riot that happened in 1969 when police raided a gay bar in New York City, the Stonewall Inn. And from that day forward, every year, Pride Parades happen around the world to commemorate when we found our voice to stand up against oppression, police brutality, and those who discriminate against us. So for 40 years, Oklahomans for Equality has been working for full equality for LGBTQ persons in Oklahoma. Here, the parade route will go up Boston Avenue through the Art Deco district and then turn right at 4th Street and travel down Pride Street. That's right, we have our own street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Just look for the rainbow signs at the crosswalks and travel right down to the Dennis Arnell Equality Center. Let's take this moment to thank all of our sponsors. These are the individuals who've stood with us for several years, and especially during these most challenging times. The Charles and Lynn Schusterman Family Foundation, the George Kaiser Family Foundation, the Sanford and Irene Bernstein Family Foundation, the Crescent Family Foundation, the Ann and Henry Zarrow Family Foundation, the Hardesty Family Foundation, American Airlines, the Flint Family Foundation, Boomtown Teas, Williams, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, Direct Energy, Temple Israel, Bank of the West, Phillips 66, Hilti, Creoaks Mental Health Services, Phillips Theological Seminary, Habitat for Humanity, P-Flag of Tulsa, Dennis Neal and John Southard, Kelly Kirby, CPA, Dwight Callahar, CPA, Dr. Timothy T. Cole and Chance Phillips, Larry Ward, Richard and Deborah Gordon, Sasha and Ethan Warlick, Jason McVicker and Justin Clary, Joe and Nancy McDonald, the estate of John Revelle, Dr. Al and Renee Carlozzi, Marilyn DePeconic, Barbara Abercrombie and Terry Deshawn, Cynthia Phillips and Sherry Gibbs, William Murphy and Todd Holland, Joe Huckles, Hollis Holcomb, David Nelson, Christopher and Michael Breck Smith, Mark Fitch, Daniel Bernstein and Martine Martinez, Christopher Wilmus and Dusty Gross, and Hope Health Outreach, Prevention, and Education. I love the city of Tulsa and how Tulsa is really growing up and becoming a welcome and inclusive city. Their goal is to be a world-class city, and this is evidence that we're well on track to really improve the city of Tulsa. So it's a welcoming, inclusive environment for everybody. Not everybody's excited about us marching on the streets, and so we're accustomed to encountering protesters, and we just ignore those, and we listen for the voices of those who are cheering and celebrating their LGBTQ family, their LGBTQ neighbors, and their LGBTQ employees. You know, we love this big city feel as we move into the Art Deco district, and you see all the skyscrapers, that big skyscraper canyon of Art Deco buildings. It has such a big feel for us as we move into that, you know. But really, Tulsa's just a town on the prairie right here in the heartland of America, and this is Main Street, Oklahoma that you're looking at. We love this feel of just how it feels so homey and feels like this is our home on the prairie. And there they are. The crowds are waiting and welcoming us. Look for yourself in the crowd. There you are. You were there last year, and there you are. And find yourself in the crowd. It's kind of like Where's Waldo, but you can find yourself. Look at everybody. Wave back at them. This is such excitement, enthusiasm. They're ready for the parade to get down to them. And any minute, the parade's about to hit the downtown district. There's the Lotes. They're passing out their coupons for you to be able to get those puffy tacos. We love Libby and the folks over at Lotes, one of our favorite places to eat in the downtown Art Deco district. This community gathering is so important because it helps reduce isolation. Many LGBTQ people struggle with feeling isolated and alone, and here's evidence you are not alone. We're here welcoming you. Here are your families and your friends and your community supporting you. You are not alone. And here we are. The city of Tulsa says, welcome to our city. Marching in the Pride Parade for the very first time. Progress is promised. Tulsa is progressing and becoming a more welcoming city. And the city council marching in this parade for the very first time. Ben Kimbrough, Cass Fowler, Kara Joy McKee, Krista Patrick, and Lori Dector Wright. And here we have P-Flag, longtime supporters of the LGBT community. This is the parents and the friends and those who love their LGBT family members. And there's Lady Nancy McDonald, the founder of Tulsa P-Flag, who's been a strong advocate for marginalized communities in Tulsa. So honored to have Google and the Gaglers is what they call themselves. Google is been participating in the Pride Parade for the last several years, and their presence in Oklahoma has really been a game changer. So nice to have them down in Pryor, and here we are. They're blowing their bubbles. The Gaglers are blowing their bubbles in the shadow of the Dennis Arnell Equality Center. You can see the rainbow streamers. We decorate this whole street welcoming everybody, and I love how their float this year recognized the history of our movement and the Stonewall riots and the part that they played and why we commemorate it every day, every year with the Pride Parade. Here we are seeing their incredible team marching the streets, and still look for yourself. I know you're there in the crowd. How exciting it is. Notice how all these individuals, they're cheering and supporting you, and they're saying, we're marching with you and we're standing with you. So honored to have the Tulsa Y for all. I love this. The Y is for everybody, and we love working closely with the Tulsa Y. Here we have Williams. This is one of our longtime supporters of the Dennis Arnell Equality Center and Oklahomans for Equality, a major oil company, oil producer, energy producer here in the city of Tulsa, major employer. Had some of the first inclusive policies, led the city, and was a wonderful example. They're even great jugglers. There's Sarah showing us what incredibles jugglers. And then we have the Free Mom Hugs. So glad to have them joining us this year. And we are one OU. I love their presence. Here's Cox Communications marching on the street. I have Cox Cable in my house, and we have it at the Quality Center because they're at the Pride Parade. So wonderful to have these corporations and companies allowing their employees to march and show support for their employees, inclusive workspaces, and supporting the LGBTQ community here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So excited to have the atheist community of Tulsa represented in the Tulsa Pride Parade. Many LGBTQ persons are people who are secular in humanist belief, and so glad to always have their participation representing those in our community who identify as atheists. We love right now the roller derby girls are rolling in, and this is the Roughneck team, and they're a part of the Tulsa Roller Derby League. Which is for women roller derbies. Okay, now folks, don't try this at home. And these folks did sign a waiver in the event of an injury that we were not responsible for it. So hold your breath. Right here, you're going to see Major Evel Knievel special effects right here in downtown Tulsa. Ready? Wait for it. Here she goes. Okay, everybody give her a big hand. This is amazing. See the skill that these girls have. My mom used to take me to see the roller derbies back in the girls' roller derbies back in the 60s. I love what we're seeing here. Wonderful. So glad to have AT&T in the parade. They've done this incredible parade. Notice that's the sign that was actually posted in New York City. There's Jericho Dillard, a famous aerialist right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And AT&T's marching big and loud, and followed up by Lowe's, which I love Lowe's. I love their signs. They probably bought those signs, all that and made that right from stuff they purchased at Lowe's. Look at that crowd just taking it all in. You mean all of these companies are supporting the Dennis Arnell Equality Center and the work that we do. There's Reverend Evan Taylor with Eastside Christian, who is now combined with Forest Park Christian Church, located at 91st and Mingo, followed by the Tulsa Zoo. Notice there are lions and tigers and bears. That one has a purple beard. Nice. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my, and here they are marching in the Tulsa Pride Parade. And right behind that, let's see, there comes this amazing group of staff from the Tulsa Zoo. I love their work. And you know, the Dennis Arnell Equality serves a little over 75,000 people every single year. People travel from all over Northeast Oklahoma and Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas to access services and to be able to find the help and the support that they need from the multiple programs. The Dennis Arnell Equality Center is open 7 days a week and every holiday, and we have continued our mission during these present challenges. So it's just wonderful, these images of the skyline of Tulsa. And here we have Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They believe in a healthier Oklahoma, and they've been very supportive of the medical programs and the mental health programs at the Dennis Arnell Equality Center. We love working closely with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. That's who we do business with. That's who insures our employees at the Dennis Arnell Equality Center. We believe them to be an inclusive health provider. Planned Parenthood, one of our closest allies and one of our strongest supporters. We believe in reproductive rights, that everybody's reproductive health should be protected, and it should be their choice, their body, and their health should be protected. And I thank Planned Parenthood. They're opening their new facilities here soon, right there at 11th and Peoria, and I know they've worked hard to have that. Here we have the Bartlesville crowd, or that's what we call them. I think this is all of Bartlesville came down for this parade, because there you have ConocoPhillips, their employee resource network group, based in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and then you have the chapter of Oklahomans for Equality, Bartlesville, Reverend Kelly Becker, who is the pastor of the Disciples Christian Church, and Philip 66, their Pride 66 group. And this is, I always joke, I love that Bartlesville has per capita more people in the Pride Parade than Tulsa does. So we love that the folks from Northeast Oklahoma travel down here to help us celebrate this event. We're so honored to have so many supportive faith communities like Trinity Episcopal Church in downtown Tulsa. And sometimes that doesn't sound like that would be something you'd find in the middle of Oklahoma, in the middle of the country. But we're so blessed and fortunate to have so many faith communities marching in the parade, and we work very closely. These same faith communities help provide our Come Home for the Holidays on Thanksgiving Day, where we feed about 400 people on Thanksgiving Day, and we have about 35 faith communities that help provide those meals. Here's Youth Services in Tulsa and Campfire Green Country and the Gender and Sexuality Alliance, GSAs, representing Tulsa area high schools, standing up for themselves and advocating for their friends, standing up opposing bullying in their high schools and creating a safe space in their hallways of their high schools. I love these LGBTQ youth from all over Northeast Oklahoma, representing several high schools. And here we have Teach for America, these wonderful teachers who are marching in the parade showing their support for their LGBT students, followed by DIVUS, Domestic Violence Intervention Services, and Habitat for Humanity, who says that everyone deserves a place to call home. What a wonderful message, and we've so fortunate the City of Tulsa has policies protecting housing. Here we have PetSmart. I love this. Even pets deserve equality. And I love that they call it unconditional love, and if you've ever had a pet, you know that that's true, that no matter what, when you come home, that pet loves you. Sometimes cats, it's kind of questionable, but they are saying, I love you and welcome home. And we love that PetSmart is in the parade every year. Hope Unitarian, what a wonderful congregation in South Tulsa. So glad to have them and their team marching in the Pride Parade. So excited to have Tulsa Educare coming up right behind them. We love that Educare says love makes a family. And they're serving our children and our preschool children all across Tulsa. And my own children have participated in some of the Educare programs. I love that they're in the parade, followed by Bama Companies Inc., which is wonderful. That's where I get my biscuits whenever I go to McDonald's. We love the Bama. They were recognized by the Equality Center several years ago. Paula Marshall was given an advocacy award, and Bama has been a strong leader of inclusion. So excited to have Fellowship Congregational Church. Fellowship was the very first faith community in Tulsa that welcomed LGBTQ people. They were a leader. The UCC denomination was the first one to ordain openly LGBTQ people in faith. The Fellowship Congregational continues to be a safe space for so many people. Followed by US Cellular. Here's the Center of Light coming up in this wonderful convertible. I love it. It's a beautiful historical convertible, and the Center of Light is another faith community that welcomes the LGBTQ community. Here's MetLife. How exciting. They had to retire Snoopy. He just got too hot in the Pride Parade. I love MetLife. I do see another little puppy with a tutu, though. Love those t-shirts, those Pride t-shirts. Followed by Temple Israel, the very first time to be in the parade. So excited to have representatives from the Jewish community and the Jewish faith represented in the parade. There's Rabbi Weinstein and his wonderful wife. She's a wonderful cantor. If you ever get a chance to visit them for their shalom services. Look at that. Everybody loves when we have faith communities representing Tulsa. Enterprise. You know where to get your car. Right here, Enterprise. Support the businesses that support the LGBTQ community. They have a huge contingent and have been in the parade for several years now. We always love having their presence. St. Paul's United Methodist on Cherry Street, the heart of Cherry Street. I saw Reverend Kathy Brown and Michelle Deal and the wonderful folks there who are a reconciling, welcoming faith community. That means the whole church voted to be an inclusive, welcoming congregation, and they have been a wonderful presence there on Cherry Street for several years, have hosted our Interpride Faith service multiple times. CAP Tulsa, Community Action Project, and all the incredible work that they do across Tulsa, making sure that children under 5 years old get the proper education and the proper start to life. I love the work of CAP Tulsa, Community Action Project. We work very closely with them. Capital One Auto, and so the prime sponsor, IMSA, Emergency Medical Services Authority. They also provide our first aid here at the Equality Center, and I've been in one of those ambulances before, and I can tell you they're plus friendly. They'll take care of you if you get a little overhydrated in the heat. Aren't you enjoying watching the parade from the cool comfort of your home with your adult beverage? Just having a wonderful time enjoying it. Here we are, Tulsa Threat Women's Tackle Football. This is an official program of the Equality Center. We love these ladies, and they say we play too. We play football too. And if you ever get a chance to go see Tulsa Threat Women's Tackle Football, make sure you go see it, because these ladies are tough on the field, and it's as good of competition as you'd ever have. Our next unit is I Am Yoga. This is a yoga program that helps you work on your inner core and helps you be able to meditate and just get yourself at a peaceful, healthier, happier self. I love I Am Yoga. We do a lot of programming with these folks and have several yoga programs at the Equality Center. Glad to have house church in the Tulsa Pride Parade. This is a welcome, inclusive faith community, very closely aligned with the Equality Center. They do amazing work. So glad to have Dad Hugs too, marching in the parade. And then we see the Pastor Hugs. So Dad Hugs too is a program of the Equality Center. TCC, Tulsa Community College, the only college in the state of Oklahoma that actively recruits LGBTQ high school students. USA, Channel 93 for Spanish-speaking Tulsans. And now the Gender Outreach Program of the Dennis Arnell Equality Center, which provides gender-affirming care, gender-affirming medical services, gender-affirming counseling services, gender-affirming social programming for the transgender community, recognizing and serving gender-diverse individuals who travel from all over the region to come here and access services here at the Dennis Arnell Equality Center. And now the Tulsa Pride Color Guard. Now get ready, put your hands together and give a warm welcome to the Tulsa Pride Color Guard. I love the way they twirl. I always wanted to be a twirler, but I usually just ended up hitting myself in the head. There's Jeremy Stevens with the Performing Arts Center. He's number 19, and here they go. Get ready for this amazing routine you're going to see that they do. Shows you what skill and talent. Just imagine seeing this on a football field or in a stadium, but you're getting to see it right here in the Tulsa Pride Parade with that wonderful view of downtown. House Hounds with Chandra Hall, Keller Williams, helping you find your home, your dream home in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So excited to have the Veterans Administration followed up very closely. First time they've been a sponsor of the Pride. At the very front of the contingent, they have LGBTQ veterans and our honor guard marching in our parade every year. But the very first time the Veterans Administration has been able to be in the parade, and they are actually a sponsor in 2020, and we were so honored to have them. We thank our veterans for their service. I love that their t-shirts say that we fought for all of you. We did our work. We stood between you and harm, standing for all of you. I love that. Now the Imperial Court of all Oklahoma. So glad to have them in the parade. They've been an active part of the community for several years, and they have title holders on their float, and very tickled to see Bill Francisco, who was one of our former Grand Marshals. He was right there at Stonewall 50 years ago. And this is your Tulsa Pride 2020 King and Queen of Tulsa Pride, King Blaze Christian and Queen Kitty Marie Legacy. We're very glad to have our 2020 Tulsa Pride Emeritus, Scrappy Legacy, and Anita Richards. We always say Anita Richards is the sweetest drag queen in Tulsa, and here they were last year serving as our Pride King and Queen, and so glad to have Granny Rainbow. Granny Rainbow is a local legend around here. She helps us raise money for LGBTQ causes, and especially the Tulsa Pride Parade. She's blowing her bubble. She's quite entertaining. If you ever get a chance to attend Pride Bingo, you'll fall in love with Granny Rainbow. So honored to have Direct Energy. They are one of our Pride sponsors, and they believe making it easier for you to bring your whole self to work. I love their presence. They're always the very first sponsor for Tulsa Pride. They get their money in quicker than anybody else, and we're so tickled to have them marching in the parade. And there's Robin Van Meter, who serves on the board of directors. College Hill Presbyterian Church, which is a Moore-like congregation right over by the University of Tulsa. Long time welcoming, inclusive community for the city of Tulsa. Works very closely with us. Mike Gibson right there. And the image is their organist. It's amazing programs. Dr. Kim Child, Reverend Todd Freeman. And here's Alert 360, providing security for your home and your business. That's who I use at my house. They'll help protect you away from those porch pirates during this uncertain times. Alert 360, they've been at the Pride Parade for several years. This time I want to take the opportunity just to thank our volunteers. There's some wonderful pooches. You know it's a good Pride Parade when there's pooches with tutus marching down the Pride Parade. But I want to thank the volunteers who work so hard. It takes hundreds of volunteers to put on Tulsa Pride. And here's Thai Pros carrying the rainbow flag. Thai Pros connecting Tulsa young professionals, connecting people, developing leaders, building community, joined by Oklahoma Center for Community Justice, carrying the amazing rainbow flag. What a beautiful view. And the 2018 Pride King and Queen, Black Widow and Flint James Page, followed by Microsoft and APPSO. And here comes One Gas and their amazing float. They won the award last year. We love their floats, followed closely by the Tulsa Green Country Bears. Every year, the Pride Parade grows larger. We had 156 units this past year, and we look forward when we'll be able to have an in-person parade again. So glad to have a representation from the Tulsa City County Library, always supporting the Equality Center, followed by the Tulsa Uniform and Leather Seekers Association, marching down the streets of Tulsa. And there's Fox 23, our media sponsors, broadcasting the LGBTQ Pride Parade for the very first time in Oklahoma. We love their support, followed by Mixed 96.5. All Souls Unitarian Church. All Souls has been a welcoming and inclusive faith community for several decades, working very closely with the LGBTQ community and marginalized communities. So honored to have them in the parade. They always say to the faith communities who've joined us in the last several years, where have you been? We've been here all along. So they've been very good, close friends of the community. We love Reverend Marlon Lavenhar, and notice they're carrying the Progress flag, which has the black and brown stripes. I love this flag. Thank you for supporting Tulsa Pride, this historic opportunity to see the Tulsa Pride Parade on TV for the first time.